Hey everybody, Chris Stokes from Custom Fitness Personal Training Studio. Enjoying a lovely day outside today. It's just too nice to stay inside, so I thought I'd come out here and talk to you guys today. I've got 3 great tips on buying shoes and some things that you should know ahead of time. So when should you replace your shoes is usually the first question, and depending on kind of your style, your finances, those kinds of things. Some people will stretch that out. I know people who keep the same shoes much longer than what they should, and other people who feel like they need a new pair of shoes seems like every other week. So let's figure out kind of the best time. So it depends on what activity you're doing in them. If you're doing some heavy intense training in them, let's say running or jogging or even a lot of jumping in them, things like that, you would break them down quicker. Now, the hard part is that the outside of the shoe usually doesn't look broken down, so most people say, well, it looks fine, so I'll keep it longer. But the problem is that the inside of the shoe, the actual structure that supports the foot, begins to break down. And so through that process, we really need to consider if it's a lot of impact. So if you're running, say, 3 to 4 days a week or jumping that much, you're really giving some impact to those shoes. You really need to think about every 6 months trading out your shoes. A lot of people go by mileage, but these days not everybody's running. So kind of think about the activity that you're doing, and if you're heavily wearing your shoes and really putting impact on them about 3 to 4 days a week, about 6 months you need to go ahead and get some new shoes. If you're doing it maybe 2 to 3 times a week or less, maybe your focus is more on weight training and some cardio and things like that. So in that case, then maybe about once a year, look into getting a new pair of shoes is usually a good thought to have. So whenever you're looking for shoes, we're kind of thinking, well, we've got to go and replace them. Well, what are we looking for? So there's usually 3 main types whenever it comes to training. You've got your walking shoes, you've got your running shoes, and then you've got cross training shoes. Your walking shoes are very flexible. They have a forward and back motion to where heel to toe is where it's driven. So it's a very forward frontal motion that's that shoe's designed for. But they're very flexible. They don't provide a lot of shock absorption, so they're not real great for running and those kinds of things. Your running shoes are going to be a little more stiff, a little more rigid. They're going to have a lot more padding. If you've been to a running store lately, you've probably noticed that they are darn heavy because of all that padding. So compared to a walking shoe anyways. So if you were to pick some up and try them on, you may feel like they weigh a lot, and they just kind of increase the padding and the rubber for the shock absorption and those kinds of things in those shoes. And so those are great things to have as well if you're needing them. But then if you're doing mostly training, let's say that you're doing some HIIT training, or you're doing more aerobic style training or sports training even, you're really looking for more of a cross training shoe. It's going to have a little bit lower of an ankle drop, that spot right underneath your ankle where the shoe kind of has a cup hole there. It's going to have a lower ankle drop. It's going to allow more lateral movement, which is side to side. And that's going to allow you to do more of that specific type of training. So running and walking are more of a frontal plane. They're moving forward, whereas cross training becomes more of a lateral, forward. You get a transverse. You get through all 3 planes of motion. So the body's needing to move in those directions. And if your shoes are not built to handle that, then it can actually cause a hindrance in your training program. So we do want to make sure that we're buying the right shoes for the right thing. But then how do we buy our shoes? So 3 great tips here is that we want to shop at night. And why? Because our feet swell throughout the day. They get a little bit larger. And if you shop first thing in the morning, they haven't swollen yet. So then if you go run later in the afternoon normally, you're going to end up with shoes that feel awful tight. So if you go shop at night, you're at the largest that your feet will be for the day. You'll know that whenever you go run, you'll be more comfortable and that they'll fit better. You also want to wear the same socks that you would wear for running to go and try on these shoes. So a lot of people will just kind of have on their day socks, and they'll go try on shoes. They'll think, yeah, those feel great. And then they'll go out for a run. Maybe they've got some thicker socks, especially during the winter. A lot of people wear the wool socks, smart wools and things like that. And whenever they wear those, they're a little bit thicker, and then it causes the shoe not to fit so good. So definitely wear the socks that you intend to wear while you're running or working out during your fitting so that you can make sure that they're good. So do you have to go to a running store? Not necessarily. It's a great idea because a lot of running stores really do a good job of fitting and watching your gait, watching your movement, talking to you about what kind of movements you're going to be doing. But obviously they may not have the widest selection of cross trainers or things like that if they are quote unquote a running store. So if you're looking for that, you may have to go to another store, and that's fine. But know that you're probably going to need to try them out. So make sure that it's a place that you don't mind kind of walking around the store a little or doing some jumps or running or whatever you need to do. The store people may look at you like you're crazy, but you're better off trying out some shoes and kind of give them a test drive, if you will, before you take them out of the store, if at all possible, what they look like. Now, if you go to a higher end store, a lot of times they'll try to sell you something that really, a lot of those shoes look terrible, and they'll tell you that it's more about comfort. Well, it is true. It is about comfort, and if you don't buy for comfort, you're gonna be in trouble. But if you buy a shoe that absolutely is hideous to you, you probably won't wear them anyways, especially out in public. So kind of got to go midline there, find ones that are comfortable, but definitely pay attention as well to, you know, whether or not you actually like the aesthetics of the shoe. So those are kind of the big things there. We want to watch out for any discomfort. Obviously, you've got some time that you've got to break those shoes in. So if you run into any discomfort, any arch pains or cramping or anything like that, you could definitely look into a different insole. Sometimes that'll work, sometimes it won't. So best to do your best to try them out beforehand as much as possible. Make sure that they're a good fit and feel, because we don't want to have any discomfort going on through the foot as you're doing your workout, whether it's running or cross training or whatever it may be. So if you need extra help on that or anything else in the health and fitness realm, we'd love to help you. Our team is ready and waiting for your call, 322-3188. Be happy to offer you a consultation to come in and just talk to us, see if we're a good fit for you, and kind of find out more about who we are and what we do. So we are a private personal training studio, and we customize exercise, nutrition, and lifestyle modifications to meet your needs at whatever level that you're coming in at. So we have clients as young as 16 and as old as 97 that we would love to help you anywhere in between there, or, you know, bring us a challenge and something new. We'll be happy to work in that realm too. Hope you have a great day. Enjoy the sunshine. We'll talk to you soon.